The first thing I noticed when I walked into my apartment wasn't the missing dress. It was the silence, that heavy, unnatural quiet that whispers something is terribly wrong. My $20,000 wedding dress, my masterpiece, should have been hanging in its garment bag by my bedroom door, but there was only empty space and a pit forming in my stomach. I'm Lana, and 7 days before my wedding, my sister stole my dream. Olive? I called out, my voice echoing through the apartment. No answer. Of course not. I already knew who had taken it. The same person who'd been borrowing my things without permission since we were kids. I grabbed my phone, dialing Olive's number with shaking fingers. One ring, two rings, three. Hey, sis! Her voice was sugar sweet poison. Where's my dress? Oh, a pause. I needed it. The casual tone made my blood run cold. You needed my custom designed wedding dress? The one I spent 6 months creating? Don't be so dramatic. You can make another one, or buy something off the rack like a normal person. Olive, I'm getting married in 7 days. Yeah, about that. She giggled. I'm getting married tomorrow. Surprise. Caden and I decided to move things up. You know how spontaneous he is. My legs gave out, and I sank onto my couch. You're wearing my dress to your wedding tomorrow? You can afford another one, Miss Successful Fashion Designer. Don't be selfish. I ended the call and immediately dialed our mother. She answered on the first ring, like she'd been waiting. Mom, Olive stole my wedding dress. Honey, she just borrowed it, Mom said, using that same placating tone she'd used our whole lives. You're both getting married anyway. What's the difference? The difference? My voice cracked. That dress was my design, my creation, my story stitched into every single bead and layer of lace. It's worth. Everything isn't about money, Lana, Mom interrupted. Your sister is happy. Can't you just be happy for her? I hung up and stared at my reflection in the dark TV screen. My whole life, I'd been the reasonable one, the one who gave in, the one who smiled and nodded while Olive took and took and took. My phone buzzed. A text from Max, my fiance. Everything okay? You missed our cake tasting. I'd forgotten completely. Another thing Olive had stolen this moment with Max. The doorbell rang. I opened it to find Autumn, my best friend, holding two bottles of wine. One look at my face, and she knew. What did she do this time? I led her to the couch and told her everything. Autumn's expression darkened with each word. That's not borrowing. That's theft, she said, pouring generous glasses of red. You need to call the police. And then what? Mom will bail her out. She'll play victim. Nothing will change. So, what are you going to do? I took a long sip of wine, remembering every time Olive had taken something of mine, every time she'd smiled while doing it, every time our mother had excused it. You know what the funny thing is? I said, setting down my glass. Olive thinks she knows all my secrets, but she has no idea what I know about hers. Autumn raised an eyebrow. Lana. If my sister wants something that's not hers, I said quietly, she better learn what it costs. My phone buzzed again. A group text from Mom. Everyone come to the house tonight. Pre-wedding dinner for Olive and Caden. No excuses. I showed Autumn the message and she whistled low. Are you going? Of course. I stood up, smoothing my dress. I wouldn't miss it for the world. As I grabbed my keys, I caught my reflection again. I looked exactly the same as I had this morning, but something had shifted. The good sister was gone. The understanding sister was gone, and in her place stood someone who was finally done being reasonable. You coming? I asked Autumn. She studied my face for a long moment before nodding. Someone needs to witness the show. I smiled, and for the first time that day, it reached my eyes. Oh, there's going to be a show, all right. Olive wants to play bride. Let's see how well she handles the spotlight. 6 months earlier, I'd sat in my studio, sketching the dress that would become my masterpiece. Each line had meaning. The sweeping neckline echoed my grandmother's wedding photos. The lace pattern incorporated healing symbols from her culture. I'd spent weeks sourcing the perfect fabric, months perfecting every detail. This is more than a dress, I'd told Max, showing him the final sketches. It's about breaking cycles, being better than what came before. Now, walking into my mother's house for Olive's pre wedding dinner, those words felt like ashes in my mouth. The living room was packed with family and friends, all clustered around Olive. She was wearing my dress, my story, my healing, like it was just another piece of clothing. Lana! Mom rushed over. Come say hello to your sister. I think we said enough earlier. I moved past her toward the bar. Autumn appeared at my elbow with a martini. Deep breaths. Remember why we're here. I nodded, taking a careful sip while scanning the room. Caden stood by the fireplace, looking uncomfortable in conversation with his best man, Quincy. I pulled out my phone and opened Instagram, posting a carefully worded story. Sometimes the people closest to you reveal who they truly are, and sometimes karma needs a little push. Within minutes, Autumn's phone buzzed. What are you planning? Before I could answer, raised voices caught my attention. Caden and Olive were arguing in the hallway. Can't just change everything without talking to me, Caden was saying. It's not a big deal. Jason's just an old friend you were engaged to. I froze. Autumn grabbed my arm, pulling me into the kitchen. Did you know about Jason? She whispered. No, but I'm about to learn everything. I texted Quincy. Need to discuss wedding logistics. Can we talk? 20 minutes later, I met Quincy in the garden. He looked relieved to escape the party. Caden's my best friend, he said without preamble, and something's not right with this rushed wedding. Tell me everything. What Quincy shared confirmed my suspicions. Olive had been engaged 3 times before Caden. Each time she'd traded up for someone wealthier, more connected. But Caden was different, self made, principled, exactly the kind of man she'd been hunting for. Back inside, Autumn pulled me aside. There's more, she said, showing me her phone. Remember that boutique opening last month when Olive said she was sick? The screen showed messages between Olive and Jason, her ex. Recent messages. Very recent. She's still seeing him, I breathed. While living off Caden's money, Autumn confirmed, playing the devoted fiance while sleeping with her ex. I took a screenshot. Perfect. Lana? Autumn's voice was worried. What are you going to do? The party was winding down. Olive was hanging on Caden's arm, all traces of their argument hidden behind her practiced smile. Mom was beaming at them, probably already planning how to explain away my absence at tomorrow's wedding. Nothing yet, I said. Tomorrow's her big day. Let her have it. Later that night, I sat in my empty apartment, staring at the space where my dress should have been. My phone lit up with a text from Max. You've been quiet. Talk to me? I typed back, just processing. Need some time. Don't do anything you'll regret. But that was the thing. I'd spent my whole life regressing things, being the bigger person, taking the high road while Olive took everything else. I opened my laptop and created a new email account. Attached the screenshots. Wrote a simple message. Before you say I do, you should know who you're really marrying. Check her phone, ask about Jason, or better yet, ask why she's wearing a stolen dress. My finger hovered over the send button. Once I did this, there was no going back. No more being the good sister, no more taking the high road. Some dresses, I whispered to the empty room, are sewn with secrets. I hit send, then forwarded the email to Quincy for good measure. Within minutes, my phone buzzed with a response from Caden. One word, noted. I smiled, thinking of Olive in my dress, probably trying it on one last time before her big day. She had no idea what was coming. But then again, neither had I. The morning of Olive's wedding dawned bright and clear. I'd barely slept, my phone buzzing through the night with messages from Quincy. Caden's not answering calls. He cleared out his apartment. What exactly did you send him? I left them all unread, focusing instead on my own plans. Max found me in the kitchen staring at wedding venue brochures. I thought we could do something simpler, I said before he could speak. Just us, a courthouse, close friends. Because of Olive? He sat across from me, concern etched on his face. Lana, talk to me. You've been different since yesterday. Different how? Colder, more distant, like you're plotting something. I met his eyes. Would you blame me if I was? Yes. He reached for my hand, but I pulled away. Revenge won't fix this. Neither will letting her get away with it. Again. My phone buzzed. Autumn calling. I stepped onto the balcony to answer. Have you seen Olive's latest post? She asked without greeting. I opened Instagram. Olive had posted a photo of herself in my dress, captioned, "Can't wait to marry the man of my dreams. Some things are just meant to be." "She's baiting you," Autumn said. I know. I watched a notification pop up, Quincy requesting a meeting. And I'm done taking the bait. Time to set the trap. I met Quincy at a coffee shop downtown. He looked exhausted. "Caden's not himself," he said, stirring his untouched coffee. "He won't tell me what was in that email, but he's different. Maybe he's just nervous about the wedding." "No." Quincy leaned forward. "What did you show him?" I pulled out my phone, sliding it across the table. "The truth." He read through the messages, his expression darkening. "Jesus, does she know you have these?" "Olive never thinks anyone knows her secrets. That's her weakness." Back home, Max was waiting. He took one look at me and sighed. "You're really doing this?" "Doing what?" "Destroying your sister's wedding. She destroyed mine first. And that makes it right." He ran a hand through his hair. "The Lana I fell in love with wouldn't do this. The Lana you fell in love with let people walk all over her." I turned away. "Maybe it's time for a new version." "Maybe it is." His voice was quiet. "But I don't think I can watch." The door clicked shut behind him. I should have felt something: grief, regret, loss. Instead, I felt lighter, freer. My phone buzzed again. "Mom, Olive's asking for you. Please come to the rehearsal dinner. Be a family again." I typed back, "I'll be there." The rehearsal dinner was at an upscale restaurant downtown. Olive held court at the head table, wearing a white cocktail dress that probably came from my closet. Caden sat beside her, stone faced. "Speech!" someone called out. "Best man speech!" Quincy stood, champagne in hand. "To the happy couple," he said, looking directly at me, "may all your secrets come to light." Olive's smile flickered. Caden drained his glass. I left early, citing wedding planning of my own. In the parking lot, Caden caught up to me. "Why now?" he asked. "Why tell me the day before?" "Because she took something precious from me. Seemed fair to return the favor." He nodded slowly. "The dress. It's not just about the dress, is it?" "It never is with sisters." Back home, I opened my laptop one last time, created a new email account, attached every screenshot, every message, every piece of evidence I'd gathered, added photos of my original dress designs, proof of theft, everything. Subject line: "The truth about tomorrow's bride." Recipients: every wedding guest's email address. Time delay: set for mid ceremony. My phone lit up with a text from Autumn. "Are you sure about this?" I thought about Max's words, about Mom's enabling, about Olive's lifetime of taking without consequence. "Some lessons," I typed back, "have to be learned in public." I hit send, then turned off my phone. Tomorrow would come soon enough, and with it, the moment Olive finally learned the cost of stealing what wasn't hers. The church buzzed with pre wedding energy. I arrived early, sliding into a back pew while the photographer snapped pictures of guests. My dress, a sleek black number that screamed, "Not here to celebrate," drew disapproving looks from relatives. "Lana!" Mom rushed over, pearls clutched literally and figuratively. "You can't wear black to a wedding." "Watch me. Please." She grabbed my arm. "Just give your sister a hug. Make peace." Like she made peace with stealing my dress. Mom's face crumpled. "Why do you always have to make things difficult?" "Funny, I was about to ask you the same thing." Autumn slipped into the pew beside me, checking her phone. No sign of Caden yet. "What time is it?" "20 minutes till ceremony. He should be here." The church filled quickly. I spotted Quincy pacing near the altar, phone pressed to his ear. His face told me everything I needed to know. A commotion near the bridal suite drew everyone's attention. Olive emerged in my dress that I'd sketched while thinking of healing, of breaking cycles. She'd altered it, of course, added more beading, more sparkle, made it louder, like everything else about her. "You look beautiful, sweetheart," Mom gushed. Olive's eyes found mine across the church. She smirked, adjusted the train, and disappeared back into the bridal suite. My phone vibrated. "Quincy. He's not coming." I showed Autumn the message. She squeezed my hand. "Last chance to stop this." She had plenty of chances to do the right thing. The organist began playing. Guests settled into their seats. The bridesmaids lined up, all pink tulle and nervous smiles. Still no Caden. Mom scurried to the bridal suite, emerging moments later looking flustered. The wedding planner whispered urgently with the officiant. Guests began to murmur, "Where's the groom? Is there a delay? Did something happen?" Quincy approached the officiant, handed him an envelope, then walked straight to me. "It's done," he whispered, sliding into the pew. "He's not coming." The wedding planner tapped her microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing a slight delay. Please remain seated." More whispers, more phones coming out. The bridesmaids shifted uncomfortably, then the music started. Olive appeared at the doors, radiant in her stolen glory. Mom walked her down the aisle, both of them pretending everything was fine. But halfway to the altar, Olive's smile cracked. "Where's Caden?" she hissed, loud enough for the front rows to hear. The officiant cleared his throat. "Miss Holmes, if I could have a moment." He held out the envelope. Olive snatched it, tearing it open right there in the aisle. The church fell silent as she read, her face draining of color. "No," she whispered, then louder. "No." The letter fluttered to the ground. Mom grabbed it, read it, gasped. "A life with a liar isn't a life I choose." She read aloud, forgetting her microphone was still on. The words echoed through the church. Chaos erupted. Phones flashed. Guests stood for a better view. Olive swayed, then collapsed into Mom's arms, my dress pooling around them like spilled secrets. "Who did this?" Olive screamed. "Who told him?" Her eyes found mine again. This time I was the one who smirked. "Some dresses," I said, loud enough for nearby guests to hear. "Don't clean up so easy." I stood, smoothing my black dress. Autumn rose with me. "You ruined my wedding," Olive shrieked. "No," I replied calmly. "You ruined two weddings. I just made sure everyone knew about it." I walked out of the church, head high, the sounds of chaos fading behind me. Outside, the sun was bright, the air crisp. A perfect day for karma. My phone buzzed. "Max, did you do it? It's done. Was it worth it?" I watched through the church windows as Olive's perfect day imploded. Guests were leaving in droves, phones out, already spreading the gossip. Mom was trying to maintain order, failing spectacularly. And in the middle of it all, my dress, my beautiful, meaningful dress, was crumpled on the floor, trampled by retreating feet. The first tear surprised me, then another. I wasn't crying for Olive, or for the dress, or even for the satisfaction of revenge. I was crying because victory felt nothing like I thought it would. "No," I typed back to Max, "but it's done anyway." The aftermath was worse than the explosion. Videos of Olive's meltdown went viral within hours. Local news vans parked outside Mom's house. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing with messages from family members I hadn't heard from in years. "Did you see? Can't believe she wore your dress. Always knew that girl would crash and burn." I ignored them all, sitting in my dark apartment while Autumn poured wine. "It's trending," she said, scrolling through her phone. "Wedding gone wrong. People are sharing the email screenshots." I didn't send those to go viral. No, but Olive's influencer bride status made it impossible to contain. She paused. "Your mom's called 6 times." I checked my voicemail. Mom's messages grew progressively more hysterical. "How could you do this to your sister? She's devastated. The press won't leave us alone. Please, Lana, help us fix this." The doorbell rang. Autumn peeked through the peephole and stepped back. "It's Max." I opened the door. He looked tired, worried. "You okay?" he asked. "No." He nodded, stepping inside. "I saw the videos, the news coverage. It's intense. She stole my dress. And you stole her future." "She didn't love him," I snapped. She was using him, like she uses everyone." "Maybe." Max sat on my couch. "But you didn't do this for Caden. You did it for revenge." My phone buzzed again. "Quincy, Caden wants to meet. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., Harbor Coffee." "Going to gloat?" Max asked, reading over my shoulder. "I don't know what I'm going to do." Autumn set down her wine. "You have to face them eventually, all of them." As if on cue, my phone lit up with a text from Olive. "You happy now? You ruined everything." I typed back, "You started this." "By borrowing a dress? You destroyed my life over a dress?" "No, I exposed the truth about who you are. The dress was just the last straw." Three dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, Mom's having a breakdown. Hope you're proud of yourself. I turned off my phone. What happens now? Autumn asked. Now? I laughed, but it sounded hollow. Now I deal with being the villain in everyone else's story. Max stood up. You're not the villain, Lana, but you're not the hero either. I never wanted to be either. What did you want? The question hung in the air. What had I wanted? Justice? Revenge? To finally make Olive feel what I felt? My laptop pinged with a news alert. Influencer, bride left at altar, sister's revenge plot exposed. Autumn read it aloud. Sources say the bride's sister, a local fashion designer, orchestrated the public humiliation after the bride stole her custom wedding dress, valued at $20,000. The groom, prominent businessman Caden Taylor, left a dramatic note citing the bride's dishonesty. They're painting you as some kind of mastermind, Max said. Isn't that what I am? He shook his head. You're someone who got hurt and hit back. There's a difference. Another text came through, this time from Mom. Come home. We need to talk as a family. Don't go, Autumn said immediately. It's a trap. But I was already grabbing my keys. I have to. Why? Because running away is what Olive would do. The drive to Mom's house was surreal. News vans still lined the street, reporters perking up as I parked. Camera flashes followed me to the door. Mom opened it before I could knock. She looked older, defeated. She's upstairs, Mom said quietly, still in the dress. I climbed the familiar stairs, each step heavy with history. Olive's door was closed, but I could hear her crying. For a moment, I was 10 years old again, standing outside this same door after Olive had taken my favorite doll and broken it. Mom had made me apologize then for making Olive feel bad about what she'd done. Not this time. I pushed open the door. Olive sat on her bed, my dress wrinkled and tear stained around her. Happy now? She whispered. I looked at my sister, really looked at her, and felt nothing but tired. No, I said honestly. I'm not happy at all. Harbor Coffee was quiet at 10 a.m. Caden sat in a corner booth, staring into a black coffee like it held answers. He looked up when I approached, gesturing to the seat across from him. You look terrible, I said. So do you. A waitress appeared. I ordered an espresso, waiting until she left before speaking. Why did you want to meet? To understand. He pushed his coffee aside. You could have told me privately, warned me weeks ago. Instead, you chose public humiliation. Why? Because private warnings wouldn't have stopped her. No, he leaned forward. You wanted an audience. You wanted her to feel what you felt. My espresso arrived. I focused on stirring sugar into it, avoiding his gaze. The dress was beautiful, he said quietly. I saw the original sketches in that email, the meaning behind every detail. She never mentioned that part. Of course not. She didn't care about the meaning. Like she didn't care about me. Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. Another news notification. Wedding drama update. Jilted bride hospitalized for anxiety attack. Caden saw it too. Is it true? Mom's flair for drama. She took Olive to the ER for nerves this morning. They're milking the victim narrative. And what narrative are you milking? The question stung. My phone buzzed again. Max, we need to talk. Everyone needs to talk lately, I muttered. Can you blame them? Caden stood, dropping cash for his coffee. You got what you wanted, Lana. But at what cost? I met Max at our usual spot in the park. He was feeding ducks, something we used to do together every Sunday. I postponed the wedding, he said without preamble. I know. Do you? He turned to face me. Do you know anything anymore besides anger? That's not fair. Neither was what you did to Olive. She deserved it. Maybe? He threw the last piece of bread. But you didn't deserve to become this person? I walked home alone, past newsstands with local papers still running the story, past people who pointed and whispered, past the life I'd had before revenge consumed me. Autumn was waiting at my apartment. Your mom called me, she said, following me inside. Olive's being released from the hospital. They're saying you caused her breakdown. Add it to my list of sins. This isn't funny, Lana. They're talking about legal action. I laughed, harsh and hollow. For what? Telling the truth? For harassment, public humiliation, emotional distress. She stole my dress. And you stole her dignity. Autumn grabbed my shoulders. Look at yourself. When does it end? My phone chimed. An email from an unknown sender. I opened it to find my original dress sketches, burned at the edges, with a note: Your hands aren't clean. Olive, I whispered. No. Autumn took my phone. This isn't Olive. This is someone else who knows what really happened. What do you mean? Think about it. Who else knew about those sketches? Who else had access? The realization hit like ice water. Mom, your mother watched you design that dress, watched Olive take it, watched you destroy her wedding, and now she's playing both sides. I sank onto my couch, like always. Another email arrived. Every revenge story needs a villain. Congratulations on becoming yours. They're right, I said quietly. I became exactly what I hated about Olive. Autumn sat beside me. So what are you going to do about it? My phone lit up with a text from Olive. Mom's planning a press conference, playing the mental health card, painting you as the jealous sister who tried to destroy me. That's what you wanted, right? All eyes on our family drama? I showed Autumn the message. Is it what you wanted? She asked. I thought about Caden's words at the coffee shop, about Max feeding ducks alone, about my dress, designed for healing, now stained with tears and revenge. No, I said finally. This isn't what I wanted at all. Then maybe, Autumn said gently, it's time to write a different ending to this story. I picked up my phone, staring at Olive's message. For the first time since this all began, I knew exactly what to do next. The press conference was set for noon at the Riverside Hotel. I arrived an hour early, watching from the lobby as reporters set up their cameras. Mom stood at the podium, doing sound checks. Olive sat nearby, perfectly styled to look fragile and wounded. You shouldn't be here, Autumn whispered beside me. Watch me. Mom tapped the microphone, and the room fell quiet. Thank you all for coming. As you know, our family has endured a terrible ordeal. I stood up. A malicious attack on my youngest daughter. I walked forward. An act of jealousy that spiraled into, Stop! My voice cut through the room. Cameras swiveled. Mom froze. Olive's eyes went wide. Lana, Mom hissed, sit down. I reached the podium instead. You want to talk about jealousy and malice? Let's talk. Security, Mom called. No. I grabbed the microphone. Everyone wants the truth? Here it is. The reporters leaned forward. Phones came out. Olive stood up, shaking. Don't, she warned. I'm not here to hurt you more, I said. I'm here to end this. By humiliating us again? By telling the whole truth, including my part in it. Mom tried to intervene, but I held up my hand. Yes, Olive stole my wedding dress. Yes, I exposed her lies to Caden. Yes, I wanted revenge, but this isn't about a dress anymore. It never was. The room was silent now, every camera rolling. This is about a family that never learned how to love without hurting each other. About sisters who only knew how to take, never to give. About a mother who taught us that keeping up appearances matters more than keeping our souls intact. Lana, please, Mom whispered. I'm not the hero of this story, I continued. I'm not even the victim. I'm just someone who got hurt and chose to hurt back. And I'm done. Olive stepped forward. Done with what? Done letting our past define our future. Done with revenge. Done with this cycle we're all trapped in. I turned to face her directly. I'm sorry, Olive, not for telling the truth, but for how I told it, for becoming exactly what I hated, for choosing vengeance over healing. Tears streaked her makeup. You destroyed everything. No, we destroyed everything, together. One choice at a time, one lie at a time, one wound at a time. The reporters were scribbling frantically. Mom had sunk into a chair, her carefully crafted narrative crumbling. So what now? Olive asked, her voice small. Now we choose. Keep playing these roles we've created, or I held out my hand. Or we start over, not as rivals, not as victims, just as sisters who are really, really tired of hurting each other. For a long moment, nobody moved. The cameras clicked, the air conditioner hummed, and in that silence, years of pain and pride hung in the balance. Then Olive took my hand. Mom burst into tears, real ones this time, not the performative kind she'd planned for the cameras. The dress, Olive said quietly. I can't give it back. I ruined it. I know. I squeezed her hand. Maybe that's fitting. Maybe we needed to destroy the old to build something new. A reporter raised her hand. So there's no lawsuit? No lawsuit, I confirmed. No more drama, no more stories. Just a family trying to heal. That's it? Another called out. That's the ending? I looked at Olive, still holding my hand. At Mom, mascara streaked, but finally real. At Autumn in the back, giving me a thumbs up. No, I said. It's not an ending at all. It's a beginning. Later, as the reporters packed up and the hotel staff cleared the room, Olive pulled me aside. He still asks about you, you know. Who? Caden. He says you were the only honest one in the end. I thought about Caden's words at the coffee shop, about Max feeding ducks alone, about choices and consequences and the cost of being right. Tell him I said thank you, I replied, for helping me see who I was becoming. Olive nodded, then hesitated. Lana, can we can we try again? Not like before, but better, I finished. We can try to be better. As we walked out together, a final reporter called out, What's the headline for this story? I looked at my sister, both of us scarred but standing, and smiled. How about sisters choose peace over pride? For once, the truth was enough. The bell above my studio door chimed. I looked up from my sketches to find Max standing there, hands in his pockets, looking exactly like he had the day I'd first met him. You're drawing again, he said, nodding at my workspace. Never stopped. I set down my pencil. Just changed what I was drawing. He picked up the nearest sketch, a dress design, but nothing like my stolen wedding gown. This one was simpler, stronger, with clean lines and purposeful details. It's beautiful, he said. Who's it for? Me? He raised an eyebrow. Not for a wedding? No. I smiled. For the woman who finally learned how to stitch herself back together. Max set down the sketch. Autumn told me about the press conference, about what you said to Olive. And? And I'm proud of you. He pulled up a chair. That took courage. More like exhaustion, being angry all the time. It gets heavy. My phone buzzed. A text from Olive. Lunch today? I'm buying. You're meeting her? Max asked, reading the message. Baby steps. I typed back a quick yes. We're trying this new thing called honesty. How's that working out? Terribly? Wonderfully. Both. I showed him another sketch. She's helping me with my new collection. Turns out she has good ideas when she's not stealing mine. Max laughed, then grew serious. I miss you, Lana. I miss you too. But? But I'm not ready. I met his eyes. I need to know who I am without the anger first, without the need to prove something. He nodded slowly. I can respect that. The bell chimed again. This time it was Caden, looking slightly uncomfortable. Sorry to interrupt, he said. I just, I wanted to return this. He held out a familiar envelope, my original dress sketches, the ones that had been emailed back to me, burned. Where did you get these? Your mom sent them to me right after everything happened, said I should know what the dress really meant. I took the envelope, touched the careful drawings inside. And now? And now I think they belong to you. The meaning, the healing. It was always yours. Max stood up. I should go. Stay, I said. Please, both of you. I want to show you something. I spread out my new sketches across the workspace, a collection of dresses, each one telling a different story of transformation. This one, I pointed, is about breaking cycles. This one's about forgiveness. This one's about choosing peace. They're not wedding dresses, Caden observed. No, they're healing dresses for women who need to remember who they are. Like you did, Max said softly. My phone buzzed again. Olive had sent a photo, my ruined wedding dress, cleaned and carefully folded. I can't fix it, she wrote, but I saved what I could. Maybe, maybe we can make something new from the pieces. I showed the message to Max and Caden. Will you? Caden asked. Make something new? I looked at my sketches, at the men who'd seen both my worst and best moments, at the message from a sister trying to rebuild. Yeah, I think I will. I picked up my pencil again, started a new sketch. This one would incorporate pieces of the old dress but transformed. Not erasing the past, but learning from it. That's my cue to leave, Caden said, recognizing the look of creation taking over. Good luck, Lana. Max lingered a moment longer. When you're ready, I'll call, I promised. When I'm ready. After they left, I sat in my quiet studio, surrounded by possibilities. My phone showed another message from Olive. Found more of Mom's old wedding photos? The patterns you used? They were perfect. I'm sorry I didn't see it before. I started drawing again, letting the pencil flow freely. This time, the design wasn't about revenge or pride or even healing. It was about hope. The bell chimed one more time. Autumn walked in, carrying coffee and a magazine. Have you seen this? She asked, dropping it on my desk. The headline read, Fashion's Next Big Thing Designer Turns Family Drama into Healing Art. I pushed it aside, focusing on my sketch instead. The magazine was just another story about the past. I was more interested in designing the future.